Hey YouTube, let's talk about the Benelli M4 match saver. So, had quite a number of comments on my Benelli M4 videos on my YouTube channel about the match saver. Talking about the brand, how I mounted it, and if I had any issues. And so let me share that with you. Should be a pretty quick video because there's not too much going on, but let's get into it. So the brand is by Roth Performance. I actually got it on Amazon. It wasn't too expensive. It's like $15 and a little bit of money for shipping. Less than 20, I believe. When you think of a match saver, that's the actual brand of the company. It's a little bit more flashy where they have the logo really kind of blazing out there. That's why I kind of didn't like that. It was also more expensive, so wasn't crazy about the actual match saver branded match saver, if that makes sense. You can also get an option with it 3D printed. Go on Etsy, and I think eBay has an option. They're a little bit cheaper, but you can see the obvious filament lines, and you can see how it's not as polished. It doesn't look as well. This brand is a very, injection molded. Just a regular plastic shell caddy. Very tight. One thing to keep in mind is if you leave a shell in here, it will actually loosen up. And so you can't leave a shell in here in terms of put it in here and then a year later it's going to be the same thing. You want to only have a shell in here temporarily. I'd say maybe a few days, but I wouldn't permanently leave any shells in here because this plastic will, I guess, deflect. I don't know. It's basically going to expand if you leave a shell in here, so keep that in mind when you have this. You want it to be tight because if it's not, it's obviously going to fall out. And that goes into another thing where I have it mounted at roughly a 5-degree angle upwards. You can kind of see it better on this side. You can see how these screw holes are not in line, and that was intentional. If there was any vibration, it wouldn't just lock the shell out when I was shooting. And it also helped a little bit in terms of guiding my hand exactly to the chamber when I loaded my +1, my match saver, into the chamber of my Benelli M4. So yeah. Get into the mounting. So this has 2 screws. These come with the actual caddy, the Roth Performance Match +1 caddy. I forget the actual size. I don't know the depth. These are just the ones I had included. And when you drill and tap, which this is how it's mounted, I just permanently mounted this to the factory OEM handguards by obviously get a smaller bit. And once you drill a hole through your handguards, you just use the actual screws that are included, and that will basically thread onto the polymer handguard. It's pretty easy. Now, if this was metal, that's a whole different story. But since it's polymer, it's pretty simple to do. I did use permanent thread locker, the red Loctite, and it's been mounted on here for a few years. And I would say about 500 rounds. I had no issue. I could leave the +1. I could leave this a shell on here and shoot 50 rounds and still be there, no issue. Wouldn't be sliding back and forth. And when I needed it, real quick, just like that. And keep in mind how I do have it mounted. You could technically flip this around, but I found this to be easier, where you can obviously see where it's guided for you to put it into the chamber. So this is a better way to mount it. Yeah. That's basically it. I did not have any issue with this impacting the pistons because, as you can see, it's flush. It does not impact the piston or anything. I did actually experiment with having this with M-lock nuts because on my Benelli M4 I have now, I have the Midwest Industries extended M-lock rail. And about right here is when I had a M-lock, the same brand, the Roth Performance +1 shell caddy, mounted about right here. So you can actually, instead of using these screws that come with it, just put M-lock nuts, and it does work. It's a little jank. It's not exactly the best. And for my case, since I already have a 8-shell, shell caddy on my Benelli, I found it a little bit redundant to have. Do I really need a +1? Kind of add extra bulk and all that, and I can train pretty fast. I can load pretty fast just off the shell caddy off the side. So in my case, my current configuration, since I no longer use the OEM handguards, I since have moved away from the shell, from the match saber. So yeah, I think that answers the question. The big three things that I had comments for was talking about the brand, how I have mounted, and if I had any issues, and I think I addressed all that. So if there's anything I missed, leave a comment. I had so much curiosity on this that I actually made a whole video. So if there's anything I'm missing, I'll definitely will comment and respond. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it.